G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a H&K USP. This is a German-made handgun originally developed around the 1980s and has been in service since 1993 in all its various forms. So, it's a product of precision German engineering. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and this thing sure as hell ain't broke. They did a good job, I guess. So, what this thing is a standalone pistol. It's got custom sounds, custom animations, and a decent amount of customization. It's not the first USP I've done, and I can read this and say this is possibly a very popular handgun because there's been many USP mods throughout the years, but this one certainly looking like one of the better ones just looking at its models and textures here. Very nice. We'll get into the attachments now, and first of all, receivers. I like how everything's in square brackets so you can tell exactly what they are. Basically, you got the same thing as you would with the deliverer, so calibrated powerful would be the best one for getting as many crits and making it powerful, but you can have the advanced one which will increase the fire rate as well, which is obviously the better choice for all-out DPS, but for a VATS character, calibrated powerful is definitely a great choice for there. Can't do anything with the barrel, so we'll leave it. And we can make the magazine extended, standard, or with quick reload variants of each of those. So that's plus 5 rounds. That'll actually bring our bullet count up to 20. I don't know if it's accurate that this thing would have 15 in its magazine as standard, but it is what it is. And we can chuck a scope on it. You can either have the scope mounted, or the sight, mounted on the back of the rear of the weapon, or you could actually mount it on the front using some sort of a mount. So we'll leave that for now, but we'll go for some muzzles here, and we're going to go for a suppressor. We'll find the Osprey because it looks like the 10mm pistol suppressor in this game, which is probably what it is based off. But it's all got the same colors, it looks good, and we can chuck a damage modifier on this thing if we want to. In the interest of keeping this as close to the modder's vision as possible, we will not touch this, although I'm very tempted to do that. And we can have something on the lower rail if we feel like it, including flashlights and one with a laser sight. There'll be a override on your Pip-Boy flashlight, I imagine, so we'll probably get some use out of that when we go along. And here's the mount I was speaking of. If you have this equipped, you can change the sights and they'll be mounted on this little tactical rail here. Let's go for an aim point because, the more bulky the sight is, it's even got an orange lens on the front. That's aesthetic, like that one. And where were we? So we can have this chambered in 10mm, or you can have it in 45 auto Colt pistol. I think that's what it means. ACP. So that'll give us more damage, and it'll give us more recoil. But yeah, it's a pistol. Ain't gonna be throwing our shoulders off of our hinges and sockets with its recoil. So I think we'll be fine. And you can change the color: black, cobalt. Actually, that's pretty cool. FDE, OD, and then tan. OD green, that was. Black looks the best, but I think cobalt is the close second there. And a legendary slot is there if you need it, but we shall not use that. Probably don't need it for a weapon like this. 188 damage is actually not too bad. If we start throwing sneak criticals in the mix, then I think we'll be pretty good. On your chemistry workbench, you'll find weapons-HK at the bottom, not to be confused with HK-47 from Star Wars KOTOR, but there you open that subfolder, and for these materials in Gun Nut Rank 2, you can have yourself a USP. So we'll create a couple more of these things just so we can showcase it in a rather larger aspect. Unsuppressed and suppressed, and maybe bare bones, and not so much. But look at all these weapon mods that I've got. Righto, so we're in the inside of Gunner's Plaza, and this is the USP in first person. This is a different one than you saw I create on the workbench before. That would be that one. I'll quickly cycle through a couple of these. 2 of these are going to be unsuppressed, the other 2 are not. The one with the long suppressor on it is going to be one with a calibrated powerful receiver, so if we want to use this thing in VATS and spam criticals, this will probably be our best bet at doing a lot of damage. But for now, we'll start off just by sneaking. James Bond style, alright? Having no problems aiming and firing this thing. The recoil animation is very quick, which is great because, by the time the recoil animation resets, you're basically good to fire again. There's no recoil on this thing to make it hard to use. Don't have to wrestle against the weapon to get it on target, which is good stuff. And if you bother to do headshots, it can deal a lot of good damage. A lot of good damage. Very satisfying weapon to use thus far. Everything's coming in quite well. I'm going to hip fire that guy. Why not? There we go. And the flashlight, there it is. It's a very bright flashlight. We've taped the bloody spotlight to the bottom of this. That's interesting. Maybe it's probably not the best thing for stealthiness, but we'll keep going anyway. And we'll keep using the suppressed ones until we get ourselves detected, which this one is calibrated powerful, so won't be able to one-shot these guys. But Gunslinger does give you the chance to disarm enemies when you shoot them in the head. And as you saw there, that just actually happened. And that's a kill there. Nice. And a level up as well. There's one. This is probably one of the sneakier weapons that I've used lately, because generally I'd get detected by now, especially if I was using some sort of suppressed rifle. So maybe there's been careful consideration to reflect the sound levels of a suppressed pistol, which would be not silent by any means, but a lot quieter than you'd find a suppressed rifle, that's for sure. And we'll keep on going. Bit of VATS gunfill action just to finish us off, I guess, because there's no way they're going to see me. We've got 3 there. This should be a kill. We'll start off with you, actually, and then we'll work our way up, I suppose. So you should be die. You should die after that. And now we'll go for an extra critical here. Don't know how much damage we got there by judging the that guy's head condition. I feel like we did quite a lot. And from this kind of distance, it's a guaranteed hit. Kind of a waste of criticals, didn't really need to use them, but it's okay. We can get them back. Bam. Well, there's one back, and I guess that's it for Gunner's Plaza. That's how easy it was to clear everything out. So I guess we'll go on to bigger and badder things. Bad because they're mutants. Okay, the rain has been console commanded away. Let's do a little bit of stealth work here. Okay, it's a lot harder to use stealth during daytime. And I think the sky's graying up a bit, so chances are we'll be seeing some rain come in very soon. I just removed it too, so... Wow, that quantum scrap bot has just tanked 3 super mutant suiciders there. Make sure you step away from that thing before it blows up. Okay, that went alright then. I think he had something else coming up. Yep. That's part of the DLC with all the robots. That's where they're from. And they're kind of tough, but they don't give you a lot of XP late game, so they're not super fun to fight. And you can really tell the difference between non-sneak criticals and actual sneak criticals. So this one was the one that I showed you with the big HK compensator on the front of it. And if we want to aim down sights and shoot like this in third person, that's probably the way to go. You know what? If he's going to scream out, "We're unstoppable," after I'm mag dumping mag after mag into his face, I'm going to believe him to an extent. Come on. Although, it should mention, these guys are notoriously bullet spongy. It's times like these where I kind of wish I installed the mod that allows, well, just better locational damage. That takes all of the tankiness away from me, including my own tankiness, which is almost 1,400 health points. That goes away very quick when there's an MG42, though. With Fallout 4, it's kind of easy just to always play during the night, because unlike other games in the franchise, you've got a wait function, which you can use to just wait to whatever time you want, and you can basically have all your combat things at night, which, if you want to grind XP, you can use, Night Person just to give yourself a little bit more perception. That's good for VATS accuracy, but more important, intelligence, which will just give you that slight extra bit more of XP just to do stuff. I remember playing on my PS4 ages and ages ago, back before I even had a PC. Grinding levels in the Glowing Sea, you'd run in during the night, do some chems, get the Lover's Embrace perk coming in. Looking a bit blooded there, Nina. Careful. These super mutants, they can smell it. So, the hip fire on this thing is, I mean, it's not great, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. If I slow down and take my shots carefully, I feel like it'd be a little bit better. And since that guy was disarmed, all he had to do when he found me was crunch his knuckles and not do anything else, because all of his other things have been thrown out of his hands. Bell of Life. that's part of a mod that adds a lot of beach stuff to your the workshop, settlement workshop, and I use it to make a beach resort in Spectacle Island for all the angels. It's a cool place. It's got a bar and everything, and little tiki torches, I think. It's some pretty cool shit there. And palm trees. It's good to have the palm trees for that classic beach imagery. Anyways, let's move over to a little bit of VATS in this late... Never mind. Well, at least we'll get some of our crits back with this. There we go. And we see if we can't one-shot this Super Mutant Waller with a stealth and a critical. Not quite. But he is like... We broke his animations. We must have hit something important in his noggin. Don't think that's an issue anymore, though. Splat. Look, I don't think 45s could do that. Like, to a human, yeah, but... Yeah, I think that's pushing it. But a Super Mutant, which has got a giant skull and presumably a more... I guess the bones would be harder because they're supposed to be Super Mutants, right? Supposed to be more resistant to bullet damaging and stuff, so you'd think their skeleton would be a little bit tougher. But their heads go pop like balloons as well. Just USP things, I guess. And I suppose after that, we'll go and find one big tanky monster, I suppose, and probably time to go out in the rain again. Alright, why not continue the fight against Super Mutants by taking on a giant one? And you know what? Let's use this guy to get our sneak criticals back. I think he's currently aggroed by something, so we'll just let Concentrated Fire kick in, get all of our crits back, and then I guess he'll go somewhere else. Let's find his arm and we'll just shoot him. Well, we've only got one shot. Let's see how lucky we are. Yep. Alright, luck is on our side on this one. That was only a 47% chance shot. Wouldn't take that one on XCOM. Well, actually I would, and then wonder why I missed. And Swan is currently charging at me, so I'm gonna sit in here. You know the horror movie cliche where they're like hiding from the monster in like a really small crevice and stuff like that? Yeah, it's like that. So that was a lot of rapid crits there. I don't think VATS can give me a cinematic shot, so it just gives me that instead. How weird's that, right? So we're going to do this all James Bond style, and we get a lot more VATS shots this way. And it looks like even though the calibrated receiver does give us more critical damage, the advanced just completely obsoletes it. So there you go, lesson learned, I guess. It's like when the T-Rex in Jurassic Park is looking at in the cars thing, and they shine the flashlight in its eye, except instead of the flashlight, it's this laser sight, which disorients his brain and then makes him do stupid stuff. See if I can find the untextured little read inside him. Yeah, there it is. You can't see it from the outside, so they just didn't bother putting a texture on it. Except for this angle, which if you're standing under him like that, he's usually facing you because he's hostile, but there you go. A little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff for you. I see a deer. Oh dear indeed. He goes down. And I'm not going to check what I got. Well, I am going to do it. I'm going to do it off camera. If I got something good, I'll show you. Don't worry. Mighty laser sniper rifle. So, there you have it. That there was the H&K USP. I think I'll call it there because there's a little more that I can show you, which I haven't really shown off already. It's a very solid weapon mod. Would recommend you download this and get this if you're running like a stealthy James Bond type character, or even just a pistol gunslinger character in your current Fallout playthrough, because, you know, the deliver ain't gonna last that long. You're gonna get bored of that soon, aren't you? Like, it's not all about the deliverer, but this is a decent replacement. It's a modern weapon. Is it law-breaking? Who knows? I just activated that for no reason. Worth mentioning that this thing is compatible with classic holstered weapons, so you'll have the big iron on your hip, except it's not a thing. It's a mag-fed, not a revolver, but same deal. Solid weapon mod. Download links in the description if you want it. Thank you very much for watching, guys.